Hello, this is Dr. CisseThe covering anatomy and physiology. Today we'll talk about the integumentary system, specifically talking about the skin model that I'm presenting to you here. This skin model will cover hair and skin, right? This model. Now, it has the hair and the skin, but you know the integumentary system is made of hair, skin, and nail. But here we'll only talk about the skin and the hair. When you look at this model, so I'm going to turn the model around on this side. On this side, we'll talk about each part. Now, what do we need our skin? Protection, right? The skin protects your body. It has to be thick. It has to have different layers. It has to have different cells that can produce products or chemical that can protect the cell, the tissue, your body. Now, let's talk about the different layer, the anatomy of the skin today. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the different layers of the skin. Here you will see the first layer here that I'm going to cover with my finger right here is the epidermis. Epidermis. The second layer that covers the whole thing here, right here, the dermis. And the last one, the hypodermis. The epidermis itself has 5 layers. 5 layers for thick skin and 4 layers for thin skin. What is this thick and thin skin about? If the skin is on the palm of your hand and the sole of your feet, it has 5 layers. On the rest of your body, it will be 4 layers. What are those 5 layers? The top, to remember it, we're going to have a little acronym to practice that. Come, let's get sunburn. From the top, it will start with the C right here. Come, let's get sunburn. The word stratum means a layer in Latin, stratum. So we're going to say stratum, something, just this layer, this layer. The first one is a stratum corneum. Stratum corneum or stratum corneum. Stratum corneum. The second one, stratum granulosum. Stratum granulosum. The third one, stratum lucidum. Stratum lucidum. The fourth one is stratum spinosum. Stratum spinosum. And the last one, the very bottom one, is stratum basal. So corneum, lucidum, granulosum, spinosum, and basal. So come, let's get sunburn. 5 layers. But if it's on top of your skin, that's not the sole of your feet or the palm of your hand, you will not have the lucidum. So it'll be come, get sunburn. Corneum, granulosum, spinosum, basal, the 4. Then the second layer is the dermis. The dermis has 2 layers. The very first layer of the dermis is the papillary layer. How are you going to recognize it? I'm going to turn the model this way so you can see these little bumps, papillae. So the first part of the dermis is the papillary layer. And the second part of the dermis right here is the reticular layer. Papillary, reticular. So if you think about it, the epidermis can have 4 or 5 layers, but the dermis has 2. Papillary, reticular. And the hypodermis is just fat there and different tissues. It doesn't have different marking like layers. It's just one. So let me look at the structures here. You see the hair shaft here, going down the hair root, and the bottom part of the hair is the hair bulb. At the bottom of the bulb, you see some blood vessels and nerves coming to nourish the hair so it can grow. We also have nerve ending. Why? Because we need nerve ending for the cell to be for your body to be able to feel stuff. You see 2 things here. We have one at the bottom, one closer to skin surface. The one at the bottom is called the Pacinian Corpuscle or the lamellar. Lamellar, because it has different layers, it looks like an onion ring. It has a different kind of onion stuff, like different layers. Lamella, lame, just means what? Like a blade, like a layers. So lamellar corpuscle or Pacinian corpuscle. And the one close to the the tissue surface, the skin surface, is called the tactile corpuscle. Pacinian, tactile. Then next to the hair, you have glands, right? You have sweat gland here on the skin, but you have sebaceous gland here. Sebum, secreting what? An oil around the hair. Sebaceous gland and sweat gland. This is the same thing. This Pacinian corpuscle is the same thing on the side here too, right here. So now we have the hypodermis, the dermis, and the epidermis. Now, when I open the hair shaft here, look at this one right here. You can see the muscle that is connected to the hair. That muscle is called the Erector Pili muscle or Erector muscle. This is the same thing. You can see either way. And you see at the bottom here, blood vessels. You see vein and arteries coming up because the skin has to be nourished. So these are basically the type of things, the structure we need to know on the skin model, okay? Epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. Epidermis has 5 layers. Come, let's get sunburn. Corneum, lucidum, granulosum, spinosum, basal. The dermis has papillary and reticular. And these bumps are called dermal papillae. It is the same dermal papilla that will go down because remember the hair is surrounded by epithelium going into connective tissue. And then the epithelium, the epidermis, is epithelium. What type of epithelium? Stratified squamous epithelium. And the names of the cell are keratinocytes. In the dermis, we have areolar connective tissue in the papillary layer. In the reticular layer, we have dense, irregular connective tissue. At the bottom, we have, in the hypodermis, we have adipose tissue. These are the things we need to know. For this, on the side here, you can see the tactile corpuscle here. And here, Pacinian corpuscle. These are nerve ending. The tactile corpuscle is for feeling, light touch, but the Pacinians are for deep pressure. So when you press on someone so they can feel it. All right, so thank you very much. I'll see you in class, right?